Hello and welcome into our Big Ten Network studios in Chicago. I'm Kevin Egan for the BTN Soccer Report. Sadly, flying solo this week, but what a sensational weekend it was in the Big Ten. So let's get right to it and check out the highlights, starting with Northwestern at Wisconsin on senior day for the Badgers, with Wildcats looking for a win after back-to-back losses. And what about this for a chance early on for Joey Calistri with a fine save from Chase Rowe. To the second half, it remained scoreless. A corner from Wilson. The ball fell kindly for Calistri. Great strike. And again, save from Chase Rowe. But the ball falls for Lepi Sutani, who lets loose from distance. And what about that for a cracker? Comes off the bar. An unbelievable strike from Sutani, inches away from giving the Wildcats the lead. And then just moments later, Nick Janis with the shot. But Tyler Miller, ever impressive in goal for Northwestern with the save. Calistri had one more effort with 14 minutes to go. Comfortable save for Chase Rowe. Went on to win Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. To overtime, and Wisconsin had one more chance. Bit of a scramble in the box, but the Wildcats get it away and get the block and hold on for what could be a precious point in Madison. It finished Northwestern 0, Wisconsin 0. So, what about Indiana and Michigan State? Their trip to East Lansing. And Jay Chapman on fire for the Michigan State side at home. And what about this for an early goal? Just takes the ball down and lets loose from distance. A cracker for his first goal for the Spartans. Just a freshman with such a composed finish. To the second half, Michigan State still 1-0 up. And it's that man again, Chapman. Takes the ball in his stride, uses his pace and composure, and lifts the ball beautifully over Sofner to give Michigan State a 2-0 lead. And look at how happy they are. And it went from happiness to absolute ecstasy when Chapman put the home side 3-0 up. Unbelievable scenes in East Lansing. Indiana got one goal back late on through their top scorer, Eric Zavaleta. A disappointing goal to concede, but what about that for a wonderful win for the Spartans? 3-1, the final in East Lansing. To finish, Ohio State at Penn State. Could Bob Warming's men get that win that would give them a share of the Big Ten title? And they got off to a flyer. Daniel Burnham scored his fourth goal of the season earlier on after 9 minutes. And Ohio State responded then through Kenny Cunningham. Shot to the roof of the net, 1-1 after just 13 minutes. Then Brady Wall gave a fine ball in to that man, Chris Hengy. Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year last year with his third goal of the season. But their lead didn't last long. Penn State responding with ease. Wonderful finish from Marvin Legister. And to the second half, tied at 2. And Penn State were gifted their third goal. Julian Cardona with his 6th of the season. And he won't get an easier goal than that. And then the Nittany Lions went 2 up. Daniel Parr putting the home side 4-2 up. Could Ohio State come back from that? The answer was yes. Shot from distance from Louis Berra managed to sneak in. And then, with just 2.5 minutes remaining, a long throw in for the Buckeyes and disaster for the home team. An own goal, gifting John Bloom's men a point away and just a single point for Bob Warming's team. Will that be enough? We'll have to wait and see. So after a crazy weekend in the Big Ten, this is the scenario board. Northwestern, currently on 10 points after a 3-1-1 season so far. They face Indiana on Thursday, clinch or share the title with a win at Indiana. Indiana need to beat the Wildcats to have any chance. Penn State find themselves on 11 points, but they've played all their games in the conference so far. And Michigan State still have a chance. They're on 9 points. They need to beat Michigan to have any real hope of a chance of claiming a regular season crown. And how about the big game? Thursday on the Big Ten Network, it's Northwestern at 16th ranked Indiana for a chance to claim the Big Ten title. Todd Yeagley's team going up against Tim Lenhin's. It promises to be a real cracker. On the Big Ten Network, we'll have all the action from 8 Eastern. Now let's check out the women's tournament because that's coming up this week. Number 1, Penn State are in action later on in the week against Iowa. And we also have the second-ranked Ohio State against Nebraska. It promises to be a really, really interesting tournament. And I'm delighted to say that we have Danielle Slaton, former US international, joining us now live in our Big Ten Network studios. Danielle, wonderful to have you along.
Great, thanks.
Are you looking forward to the tournament?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. I love this time of year. They're so fantastic. It's such a great time, and I cannot wait to get started on Wednesday.
So what's your overall impressions on the season so far? Penn State's so impressive again.
Well, Penn State, I mean, they just time and time again, that's all that they do. I mean, they're fantastic. And Ohio State ended up in second place right behind them. I don't think there's any surprises, those two at the top. But Michigan in number 3, big surprise. Last year, they didn't even make the conference tournament, and it's great to be able to see them in 3rd.
Okay, now, what about the tournament itself? Penn State's so impressive in the regular season. We saw Illinois come out last year and beat them in the final. So what are your thoughts? Who's your sleeper team?
Well, you know, I mean, Illinois last year, they were fantastic. They came up with a huge upset win against Penn State, and so I've got to pick them to be the sleeper team. They have that experience. They've been in the postseason. They've got Vanessa DiBernardo, who is fantastic. So I'm going to pick them as an upset in that first round.
Yeah, Vanessa DiBernardo, again, having a wonderful season for the Illini. So impressive last year. They haven't had a great season so far this term, have they?
No, I mean, I think they've underachieved a little bit, but I really think they're starting to hit their stride at the right time, and this is the perfect time to do it.
Okay, so looking at the individual stars so far in the Big Ten, who's impressed you most this year, and who are you looking at maybe going into the tournament this year?
Well, a player to watch, no-brainer, is Taylor Ewell. I mean, she's only a sophomore, but she has put the Minnesota Gophers on her back. She scored 19 goals, 9 assists, I believe, and she is just really something special.
You've played at the very highest level. Taylor Ewell has it all, doesn't she?
Oh, she's so fantastic. She's strong, she's technical, she uses her body so well, and she just has a nose for the goal. She's so opportunistic, and the Minnesota Golden Gophers are really fortunate to have her up top there.
Oh, absolutely, a real class act. So looking at the tournament itself now and how it breaks down, you're going to talk us through your bracket and how you see it being played out. Now, I know you're an analyst, I know you're working for the network, but let's go out here and just get off the fence, as we like to say in this little studio. So talk us through your bracket now. We're going to take a look, and we'll see what you think.
All right. Well, we've got the quarterfinals starting. We got Minnesota and Illinois. Like I said, I think Illinois is my sleeper team. Taylor Ewell, she's huge, but if you can contain her, I think you can do a good job of stopping Minnesota. Penn State, Iowa. Penn State, they're just too tough. Maya Hayes, Christine Nairn, I don't think Iowa's going to have what it takes to overtake them in that first round. Ohio State, again, they are just hitting their stride at the right time. Players like Tiffany Cameron and Lauren Granberg are having what it takes right now. And another upset that I am actually going to pick is Wisconsin over Michigan. Wisconsin is a talented team. Michigan beat Wisconsin 3-0 in the regular season, but I think Paula Wilkins does such a great job of organizing her team, learning from her mistakes. And Michigan, even though they're a great team, they haven't been there a lot, so I'm going to pick Wisconsin to beat them.
So you're going for Penn State to win the whole thing over Ohio State, I presume?
Penn State, they're just too good. I know it's predictable, but they really are fantastic. Top team in the country.
Okay, so coach speak. How do you beat Penn State?
Ugh, that's such a tough one. But I mean, I really think you have to contain their personalities. Ohio State, whoever ends up in that final game, if they're going to beat Penn State, they really have to be solid defensively and contain the dynamic personalities of the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Wonderful stuff, as always. Danielle Slaton, thank you very, very much indeed for joining us. Make sure to check out Danielle and the rest of our BTN crew for the women's tournament, and the action starts on Friday for the semi-finals. As always, please follow us on Twitter. It's at BTN Soccer Report. Get your comments and questions into us here in Chicago. All right, take care, folks. We'll see you next time. Enjoy the tournament. Bye-bye.